In the past, trust was based and rooted in community. So in this circumstance, let's say I live in this village, this local community, I might know this woman, and I might know the sheep that she raises. I might know where she sources the dye. And so therefore, I'm trusting her as an individual. Therefore, exchange was rooted in local community. I knew the person I was exchanging goods and services with. It had often immediate value. But obviously, there were problems with this operating system. It was extremely limited. It was more expensive. It was inefficient, and it was smaller in scale. And so naturally, we evolved. We went from a village to a connected village to a globally networked village. And so naturally, our operating system changed. And it brought us to the operating system of the present. Today, we have vast supply chain networks. We have global economies of scale. And so therefore, we place our trust in institutions, in banks, in brands, in governments, and that is great. We also, our communication and exchange is on a global scale. We trust the markets. We trust the economy. And so with such a global and complex system, we need to hire checkers, people to check this system for errors. And then we need people to double check those checkers and have auditors, and then more checkers to double check the checkers that they properly check these checkers. And it gets crazy, right? So we're still playing checkers to make a joke. We're not playing chess. We're not automating. We're not being smart about it. And so why are we having these problems? Well, first of all, our present operating system is centralized. This is the paramount to some of our challenges. What does that mean? Anything from our finances to our data, to what we buy, what we eat, and what we even know is centralized. And so when you have all of these things and systems that are centralized, there are numerous single points of failure. As we all know, there have been data breaches and hacks for many of our biggest institutions, and that's problematic. What else? Our present operating system is opaque. So when you order a part from an upstream supplier, you don't necessarily know what you're getting. You trust that it is. You might trust an audit, but you don't know for sure. We also trust our data with institutions, and we trust that people are not doing anything nefarious with it. And so what else happens? Our present operating system is siloed. We're still rooted in business models of the past. And so we have these silos of governments, of companies, and of individuals where we are all very separated. And so we have these very complex point-to-point integrations. So this leads to a situation where we're reactive. We're often the last to know about what's going on with our own data, with our own products, because it's increasingly more complex. And so therefore, we need regulations and we need third-party bodies to enforce all of these things. So in other words, we trust the systems, we trust our systems, but only kind of. Blockchain and decentralization in general represents the operating system of the future. This is a decentralized future, and it's a totally new way of looking at things. What is a blockchain? Very simple 101. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a really, really powerful accounting tool. Nothing more. But when you think about accounting, and you think of the basis of human communication and writing, it started with a ledger. When we moved into the agrarian revolution, when we were moved from nomadic to farming, the first written communication was a ledger recording when to harvest the crops. And look at what happened after that, after we started talking to each other. Pretty exponential growth. And so what makes this ledger incredibly powerful is that anything that you write on it can't be changed. And beyond that, it's decentralized. And so a copy of the ledger is on every node in the network. And everything in the network agrees upon what goes onto the ledger. So what this means is you have a trust layer. You have a new tool that allows you to trust any data in a network. And so what do you do when you trust the data? You can automate. Big data gets really big. So with all of these things, though, we're becoming more sustainable and more abundant. It's better for ourselves, for sustainable businesses, and it's better for our planet. And so ultimately, what all of this represents is that the future is decentralized, and this is a value, it's not a technology. And that's just the beginning.